They're just like press releases. They're unsolicited. They're not paid. They didn't come from Eureka Springs. They came from somebody else who came here, somebody who you can write back to and say, what did you do? So it's a powerful tool, but it's not an advertising tool.
Well, maybe though that is the direction that some of our media advertising should go then. Maybe we should have people in the ad talking about what a good time they had or something instead of scenic photographs and stuff. It's one thing that I got out of reading this media thing was that we're partway there. We have gone through the branding thing, and we have come up with a branding thing that's applicable to many different interests that people have, the extraordinary escape, and that's a real great thing to build on. But now maybe we have to show people doing that, and that brings me around to my very favorite subject, which I haven't brought up for a couple of months, billboards. And I still think that we should experiment with having some billboards outside of major cities on commuter routes, and just visualize a billboard in all white space. Okay, now we have these little Vespa scooters in town, and imagine one of those bright red coming toward you. On the handlebars is a little sign, hand lettered, that says "Just Married." And then there is a guy in a tuxedo riding, and behind him is a bride in a bridal gown with the veil blowing all over the place, and they're coming at you off the billboard at full speed, and it says, "Is there a wedding in your future? Come here, we have it all," with our logo at the bottom. I think that kind of thing, advertising that shows people. I don't think it would hurt if we had a person promoting Eureka Springs, a character or something in our ads. Maybe when somebody writes in for a visitor's guide, maybe we could send them a personal thank you from somebody with a name, saying thank you for requesting this guide, and if there's anything I can do, call me at this number, and have a name there, and when the phone rings and somebody asks for Hermione, we'll know that it came from there. I think we have to make an effort to make more personal contact with our customers. They're coming to visit a friend. The thing I admire most on television these days is those Ford commercials. They are absolutely brilliant because they're not selling a car, they're selling a person. They're selling a man, your next door neighbor, who knows all there is about cars, and you really trust him from the way he looks. Maybe we need to try making more of a personal contact with our customers, so that they're not just coming to a town, they're kind of visiting a friend too. There's a friend here waiting for them. That illusion. I don't know. Am I getting through to anybody? Because I've been thinking about this all month.
I was volunteering you for the name.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want them calling me all hours.
No, we just have to make personal. Nobody is talking to anybody anymore, and the internet is such an impersonal thing. You never get to talk to a person, and I think the whole attraction with Facebook and blogs and all that are people reaching out, trying to contact another human being and having a personal exchange. And I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to work this into our advertising plan, doing it that way. And the problem we have is that we have no way of knowing whether anything worked. I've been coming to these CAPC meetings since the mid-'80s. And the yardstick was always, well, how many people called in for a brochure? We run an ad for $10,000 in a magazine, and 20 people called in for a brochure. Well, that was wonderful. Well, no, it wasn't, because we don't know what happened then. Maybe we need to set up our own little telemarketing group, hire the chamber, all these people that write in they come in over the internet and they want a brochure. Give them 4 weeks or so, and then call them on the phone and see whether they decide to go on a vacation and what made them decide to go somewhere else besides here. I mean, I think we need more feedback. I think we can use some of this money, instead of buying ads in magazines, to do our own research. Not hire a firm, but to do it right here. And just try some new approaches. Mm-hmm. We need something different. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, I read that whole media strategy too, and a lot of it is talking about putting things on the internet, which my brother and sister-in-law travel all the time, and I ask her, how do you How do you figure out where you're going? What do you do? Well, we like deep sea fishing, we like the beach, we like this. They put those in and these places pop up. So, you know, a lot of people, that's what they do. They put into the internet what it is they want to do, and it pops up several places and they choose. And so, yes, I do think that we need a bigger presence, and I wouldn't mind voting to move, you know, 25,000 or something out of media into that field if that would help us. However, what I want to think about all the way through is once you do this, it drives them to our website, right? So when I look at our website and it says what's happening, some days it's blank. And so, you know, there's always something happening in Eureka Springs, but I don't know that we as a CAPC are capturing all of that because, you know, some of it's private venues. Well, so what? So what? I mean, everything's private, right? The Passion Play is a private entity and we use it to promote. Why don't we somehow put all the things that are happening every day and have that blasted out? That's got to help.
Let us know.
Right.
That's the big thing, is we don't know that it's happening.
Right, they have to submit their forms for it to be put onto the calendar.
Right.
See, and
But
I
once the
would,
forms are submitted, it should be there.
I mean, I've looked
and I don't want
like
to
4
back
or
off
5
and say,
times
no,
and it's
it's up
just
to,
been.
what I would rather see, I'm going to just throw my 2 cents in, I guess. If you just wait for it to come in, it won't come. You've got to go out and get it. I think, you know, if you were to take and say, you know, put some money towards this area, and yes, I think the whole website, I'm not happy with the website. I think we need more data on it. Just the individual pages don't have enough data to tell people what to do, where to go to get other information. The event calendar, I agree with you. But if we had someone in Eureka Springs who was focusing strictly on that, you become pretty attuned, I think, to what's going on in Eureka Springs, and you'll start picking up from your friends and your neighbors and other places of what's going to be happening. Obviously, you won't find everything, but if you wait for it, because a lot of people just, even though they're doing it, they'll wait till 30 days before to say, oh, by the way, I'm doing this.
Right.
And you've got to
Or
go
the
out
day
and hunt
before.
that stuff down, I think,
Right.
personally.
Okay.
Joanne.
Just a couple of things. One, Joyce, you touched on a lot of things. You touched on the creative message. You touched on the mediums that we use. For the purposes of this conversation, those are like really big, broad topics, and we need to first talk about, you know, what we, you know, you need to have your goal, then you figure out the best way to reach those people, then you figure out what your message is. But that would be like 3 meetings, at least. With regard to outdoor is an effective medium that's for 2 things: direction or branding. That's what you use outdoor for. Direction, like Eureka Springs, this exit, get off now. Well, okay, we can't do that really. And branding, which is really expensive to do and doesn't really provide, there's no call to action to it. It's pure imaging. It's something that not very many commercial entities have the money to do branding anymore. Coke and Pepsi, but and Ford, and some of the cars. But beyond that, the people that are really working for their money, they can't afford to do branding. The second thing about outdoor is not only is it expensive to contract, especially on a short-term basis, but the production is expensive. They no longer use vinyl. They no longer use paper. They've gone to this stuff they call FlexNet, which is a vinyl. It's a kind of a mesh that they just hook around the boards, sort of like putting a hairnet on. And after one use, it's done. You can't use it again. You can't put it to another board. You have to go back and produce it again. So there are economies of scale in outdoor that I just don't think that we have the budget to achieve. The second thing is, you're absolutely right. Before you start doing the search engine stuff, before you invite people to your party, you better make sure your house is clean. Because whenever we invite people there and they take them to the website, it has to be so easy It has to be like a couple of clicks and you got the information that you